I wanted to read this little book. This is a book that Bob gave to me. I'm not sure when it was, but in the front he's got to Karen, thanks for doing such a great job, your friend Bob Proctor. And it's a book that they created for his 80th birthday and gave to the inside community, I guess his really close friends. And I want to start off with this little bit on decision, because that's really what this morning is about. That's what everything is about. You becoming more effective at making committed decisions and decisions that are going to take you where you want to go. And in this chapter here, he talks about decision as personal power. I once heard it said that the world will forgive you if you make mistakes, but that life will not forgive you if you fail to make decisions. With all the material that has been written on the subject of personal power, I seldom hear that decision-making is the first principle in the development of your personal power. Really think about that decision is the first principle in the development of your personal power. The fear of making a decision is the result of fearing to make a mistake. And as Huxley once wrote, the fear of mistakes has a greater impact on you than making the mistakes. Don't you agree? Like, it's the fear of making the mistake actually has more impact on what you do and what you create than actually making the mistake. Now would be a good time for you to get out a notepad and write down 3 areas which affect you daily. Did everyone bring a journal or a notepad? So I want you to write down these 3 areas. Number 1, where you are. Number 2, where you want to be. And number 3, the steps needed to bridge the gap. This process will put you face to face with decisions you must make. You are going to make some decisions in the room today. That's where the MAP action plan comes in, making some decisions about what you're going to do when you leave here. As with every decision, there is the worst that could happen to you and the best that could happen to you. That's the law of polarity. Everything has an opposite. So we can look at the worst that could happen if we make this decision, or we could look at the best outcome that could happen if you make this decision. At training last week, and I should have brought it today. I could have brought it today. You should never should on yourself. I could have brought it today. And it's a little name badge that says, "What would Bob do?" And it's been so encouraging for me, particularly over the last week, making a number of decisions, just to think, like, what would Bob say to this? You know, if I'm acting like the person accomplishing this goal, what would he be saying I should be doing? And, you know, that has caused me to make some decisions and put myself in the terror barrier, but I know that's where I need to be to live in the vibration of my goal. So let's go. As with every decision, there is the worst that could happen to you and the best that could happen to you. Write each side down and ask yourself what you would do if the worst happened, and then think of how much more beautiful life will be when the best happens. And form the habit of doing this when you're faced with a decision. Too often, we're going to get into this around how the paradigm works, because the paradigm's trying to keep you where you are, remember? And so you want to be willing to make these decisions based on the best that could happen, and train yourself to look for that. Train yourself to look for the great opportunity that can be garnered by you making that decision. This method by no means eliminates the risks you must take, but it does generate a more prepared mind and a more productive attitude for action. I'll get everyone a copy of this. How does that sound? This is a really good 2-pager here for you to study. It also helps you become aware of some of the obstacles you must eliminate. A study made of the lives of thousands of highly successful people showed that they all made decisions quickly and changed them very slowly, if and when they changed them at all. Napoleon Hill talks about that in the chapter on decision in Think and Grow Rich, that the winners in life have formed the habit of making decisions quickly and changing them slowly, if and when they change them at all. The losers in life go back and forth, and that is a decision in itself. It is indecision. And procrastination is the death of men. And we'll get into why that is the case in terms of looking at the law of vibration and what you're attracting when you're in that state. Your personal power is moved into action by decision. I think everyone should write that in your journal. Your personal power is moved into action by decision. Your personal power is moved into action by decision. And I love that on this little quote card here today that I gave you. I have this sitting in front of me on my desk, and so I see it every day, and I love it. And actually, when I was sitting down yesterday and thinking what I would put on a card, I just looked up and it was staring me right in the face, and I thought that's exactly what we need to be thinking about today. I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear.